Hi, my name is Jose Alvarez.
And I'm Alex Ramirez de Arellano.
Yep, and we're here. We're going to talk about it's a story about a young lion named Simba who's following an animated video created by Disney. It is a story of how he is a heir to his father Mufasa, where his father rules over the Pride lands in Africa.
The story follows him as his uncle tries to usurp his father and take over the throne. Filled with guilt over his father's death, he leaves the Pride Rock and then later comes back to reclaim the throne as his own. I hope you enjoy our psychoanalyzation of The Lion King. With Scar, we see that he lacks a superego. He does not operate on the reality principle. Instead, he operates on the hedonistic principle, where he only aims to satisfy his own urges. We can see that his psychic energy is that of a thanatos, or the death instinct, moving towards war and death and suicide. We can see that represented when he tries to take the throne of his brother. And he also has neurotic anxiety, where his id impulses are being expressed, and the defense mechanism he uses mostly is that of rationalization.
Now we move on to Jung's view. Right, Jung's view, we can see how the Scar is represented by his shadow. Okay, this is so because we see how aspects of his psyche are rejected from consciousness by the ego due to them being inconsistent with Scar's self-concept. We can see how Scar represents his shadow archetype. Scar's lack of a persona is exemplified by how he is isolated from the group, or the circle of life, as they call it in the movie. Seeing how Scar is moody and emotional at times, we can concur that he is possessed by his anima. Finally, we see how Scar has an introverted intuition. He is concerned with the possibilities of what is going to happen. For instance, whether he will become the king of Pride Rock or not. Rather what is currently happening in his life.
With Mufasa, we see a character who's completed individuation. He's considered to have a whole personality type. He knows his place in society, and he knows what he has to do. He's come to terms with the fact that he won't remain here for a long time, and thus is passing on his knowledge as king to his own son. This could be seen as Jung's archetype of the spiritual father, where he is passing down information or bestowing wisdom upon Simba. According to Jung, Mufasa would be a character that also has the personality type of an extroverted thinking type. He leads his people, and he must think about all the situations that his people are in. And with everything, nothing's 100% because he does care about the relationships that he has.
Moving on to Freud's comparison of Mufasa, we notice how he has a mature and developed ego. Mufasa has a balance between his id and his superego, which is a good thing. He is a general character, as described in the book, as one who has a healthy personality. Mufasa fits into the character type, seeing as he is a great father figure and leader at the same time. This type of character enables Simba to look up to him, thus becoming his ego ideal.
With Rafiki, we see another character who's completed individuation. He knows his role, as we see in the numinous scene during his meditation. We have another character who represents the spiritual father. He goes to give Simba guidance and wisdom and help him grow on his own individuation. We can see that Rafiki has a connection to the collective unconscious. This is evident through the synchronicity that him and Simba share. Something of a coincidence, but he knows better than that. Based on Jung's point of view, we classify Rafiki as an extroverted intuition psychic type. With Simba, we see Simba go through all the 5 psychosexual stages of development. We see throughout the movie his ego developing slowly from just an id to developing a superego to then his ego being able to filter out through both. We see him display multiple defense mechanisms throughout the movie, such as denial and identification and isolation, where he leaves Pride Rock and he doesn't want to talk about what happened with his father. He has multiple different sources of anxiety, such as neurotic, moral, and reality anxiety, and he operates on the life instinct, or eros.
So now we move on to describing Simba and Jung's theories. He describes Simba can be seen in two of the archetypes: one, the hero of the story, and two, transformation. There's a lack of development of his persona. The collective unconscious. You can see it for the need, for the circle of life. Inherited unconscious is also there. You can also see the shadow. Basis for his growth was escaping his guilt. The different psychotypes present throughout the film. There's three. There's one, extroverted thinking, the next one is introverted feeling, and the last one that's most important is extroverted feeling.